What's going on, guys? BSGT2 TrekFan88 here. My apologies to those of you who are subscribers of mine on YouTube. Recently, it's been a lot of World of Warships videos and a few drone videos for the past almost month. Actually, 3 weeks. So, the last drone video that I put up was New Hampshire, and it came out okay. Nowhere near as much footage as I wanted, especially at ground level, you know, unique points of view on a lot of the awesome visuals that are up there, but that's not what this video is about. A lot of people on Facebook, friends of mine personally, know, and a few people on, you know, who aren't friends but acquaintances on Facebook know, but long story short, for the past, call it 2 months, I haven't felt that great, which is why I started eating better, not drinking anywhere near as much. In fact, I actually gave up for a while for drinking, but I was getting very tired at work, not sleeping well, going to the bathroom to take a piss, which, yeah, sorry, not safe for work, but literally I would be using the restroom, we'll say it that way, every hour if I'm drinking liquid, whether it's milk, water, tea, soda, and my urine was clear. And I'm not talking like, oh, you're really hydrated. It's kind of clear. No, I'm talking like if I pissed in a Poland Springs bottle, you'd think it was water, just to some degree. So I was like, okay, maybe it's because I'm drinking too much, as in drinking too much water. No, because there was a few days where, you know, a buddy came over and we had a few drinks and then go to bed and you wake up and theoretically, usually, your blood's very yellow. Urine's very yellow. Well, long story short, I really didn't feel good, and I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but I actually did have, for about a week, not at the beginning, but towards the middle, I did have a virus where I didn't have a fever, but I coughed, sore throat, tired, lethargically. It was a virus. But at the same time, something else was going on. Well, cut back to a few weeks ago when I was in New Hampshire to get the drone footage. I drove up there the night before, and that night and that day while at work, I noticed that in my left eye, like doing one of these things, I'm like, wait a minute, why is everything within arm's reach is fine, my computer desk up there at work, you know, up to 10 feet is perfectly fine, but distance was kind of blurry. Not like blurry, and not out of focus, just I couldn't read things, and I'm like, okay, I'm tired. I hadn't slept that much because I was excited to go to New Hampshire, so I chalked that up to that. Driving up to New Hampshire, it was very frustrating at night because it was much clearer that something was up with my left eye, and I'm like, okay, it's a 4.5-hour drive to New Hampshire. I'm halfway in, maybe I'm just tired. Again, sleep. Cut to later that day, I'm out near Franconia, New Hampshire, getting... if you looked at the video, it's the shot of the river from above. And I'm not talking like a foot off the ground, I'm talking a foot, like 300 feet above, 200 feet above, whatever the hell the height is. And I'm flying, and I've felt the same way the whole day. And all of a sudden, I'm not going to say fainting, but luckily I was standing next to my Jeep because I got a wave of, whoa, what the fuck is this? To the point where I let the controller, I didn't drop it, but I let it go and rest on my lovely stomach here, and I braced myself against the Jeep, and I was like not with it at all. Like if I was driving, it would have been fucking horrible because I wouldn't have been able to do anything but crash. But I took like maybe 2 minutes, and I was like breathing. I was like, okay, what is this? Keep breathing, whatever. I've taken trainings before where if you know your body is doing something, focus on your breathing, focus on staying conscious, whatever. It sounds a lot worse than it was, but clearly something was wrong. So, this is the only time recently that I picked up the controller, took it off the neck strap, put it in the back of the Jeep, and I pushed on the controller. There's a big button, a physical button on the controller that's like an emergency return to home button, and I literally like remember pushing it like non-coherently, like I need you to land, I can't fly you, because it's a fucking $1,200 drone. Regardless of the situation, I'm not going to let it go away. So it lands, and luckily it didn't fucking tip over or anything. It was kind of windy that day, and I've had bad luck with auto landings. I try and catch it. Anyway, don't even really pack anything up. I put the drone in the case, open, don't even take the props off. I don't even turn the thing off, which in hindsight was... Sorry, I didn't turn the controller off. I turned the drone off by taking the battery out. I wasn't even like with it enough to just function properly, to take the props off, to put the gimbal lock on, to turn the drone off properly. I just ripped the battery out, which is, you can do that. It's the same thing as turning the battery off. Sat in the Jeep and put the air conditioning on because I didn't want to get warm, because if you get warm you get all comfy and want to go to sleep. I was like, okay, what the hell is this? And this whole process of almost passing out and landing the drone and being in the Jeep, 10 minutes. You know, it's not like it was an hour. So another 5 minutes or so goes by, and I'm like, okay, I feel a little bit better, but clearly something is wrong. So I literally, I'm not going to say I drove fast. I actually drove kind of slow. I hightail it back to the hotel room, and I literally just, like, walk in the room, shut the door, and I just plop on the bed. And if you've ever tried to fall asleep and you're in that mode of almost passing out, almost falling asleep, but not, that's where I was, and I was like, wait a minute, nope, I need to get up. And I'm not making any of this up. I knew something was wrong. I have no idea, or had no idea what it was. So I Google search a few symptoms of mine, and everything points to the same thing. And I'm like, well, okay. So about an hour goes by of Google searching. I'm drinking a lot of water. I'm staying awake. I'm going to the bathroom again. I go to Walmart and I get a blood sugar meter. And I go back to the hotel room and I test it, and it says high. And I'm like, okay, that sucks, but I need more details. Because, you know, if you Google search medical terms, and don't worry, this is 6 minutes in here, it's almost over, everything pops up. So it's like, okay, I need numbers. I can't just say, I have high blood sugar. So I figure out in the instructions that if you push a button on the blood sugar meter, you can get the number and not just low, normal, high. And the first number that I got back was 413. Or 412. We'll call it 412. And I'm like, huh, what's that? So I Google search acceptable blood sugar levels, and I click images, and I see charts. And the charts only go up to 200, 300. So I'm like, okay, this machine's broken, or it's the wrong measurement. Let's take blood again. So I do the thing, and it comes up as 420. And I'm like, okay, this sucks. Let me call someone. Call my mom, doesn't answer her phone. Call my dad, doesn't answer the phone. Call a buddy of mine, doesn't answer. Call another buddy, whose fiance is very knowledgeable in medical stuff, and I'm on speakerphone. And they're like, hey, so what's up? I explain to them the situation in short order, short form, and they go, what's your sugar? And I'm like, you know, 4 something. And immediately they're like, are you a diabetic? I'm like, no, I'm not diabetic. And they go, well, you need to get to the hospital potentially. And I'm like, when I get back from my trip, or now? And they go, well, now. Person on the phone says, I know somebody who's an EMT. Let me call them. Be right back. So I hang up the phone. Get a phone call back in like 4 or 5 minutes, and they said, test your sugar again. And in the meantime of getting the result, they asked me what it's been. I told them it was 4, and then it was a little bit higher. And then the number comes back, and this was, I know for a fact because it was so jarring to me, 512. And they said, test it again. So I tested it 4 times. Came up with 412, 420, 412, 415. It fucked with over 5. And they said, you need to get to a hospital right now. Get to the hospital. And at this point, I'm so tired, exhausted, worried, concerned. I'm not going to say scared because I was still walking and talking. But, you know, I check in. They immediately put me in the ER. Granted, they weren't busy. This is Littleton, New Hampshire, so this is the middle of nowhere for me. I'm 4 hours away easy from any friends or family. So this is the first time I've ever been to the hospital where no one is able to... Well, first of all, the first time that I've ever been to the hospital by myself for a medical emergency. You know, not like a standard thing or whatever. So the nurse that I had there, the guy's great. I gotta send him a care package now that I think about it. But, you know, he's talking to me about what's going on. They tested my blood with their finger prick machine, and they said it was 615. That's bad. And I'm like, okay, what does this all mean? And I get explained to about blood sugar and health of your body and all that stuff. And basically, long story short, but this is before the blood work came back, and they were saying, you know, basically we think you have type 2 diabetes or diabetes in general, and we need to get some fluid in you because you are actually dehydrated. And I'm not talking like Sahara Desert dehydrated, but my body was running on, like, if you're averaging throughout your day like 70 to 80% of where you should be, maybe even 65, because people don't drink enough water. I was running at 30 to 40%. Not like, oh my god, low, but low enough where my body has been restricted for a while. And that I've probably been diabetic for a while, and my body's just now catching up. So, cut to after them getting blood work back about 45 minutes later, because they took a shitload of blood from my arm, which I still have a mark from 3 weeks ago. The official blood sugar, like A1C and current, came back at 720. And they were saying that if I did pass out in the hotel room, or when I explained to them, you know, at the Jeep when I was flying, I pretty much could have gone into a diabetic coma and never woken up. And they were dead serious about that. And from everything I've read, they had a right to be serious. It's just one of those things where I just didn't realize it, and my body wasn't giving me the right signals. But whatever. So, long story short, I have type 2 diabetes. And even though I've been eating healthier and not drinking, I wasn't eating healthy for someone who has diabetes. So they came back and said that my average blood sugars have been between, you know, high 5s and low 7s, which is bad. It's now been 3 weeks. I'm on medication. For those of you who have diabetes and are curious, I'm on metformin and glipizide, which I have to get my prescription refilled on. My blood sugar has averaged from when I wake up anywhere from 160 to 170. The highest it's been is like 280, and that was after apparently I can't have 2% milk anymore either. But that was one incident. Anywhere between 165, 170, and 220, 230. That's where my sugars have been averaging, and they've been going steadily down. But it's been a change. You know, I'm not the worst off person in the world. I didn't lose a leg or get paralyzed or lose my vision. Luckily, because they said that's one thing that can get fucked up with diabetes is your vision. And my vision has returned to normal, by the way. It returned to normal about a week after. I was out of work for a week. You know, the last day I worked was that Sunday. Monday is when I went to the hospital. Didn't go back to work till Sunday. I'm not going to say that it was easy, but, you know, it was one of those things where the whole almost passing out, and by the way, that time was around 3:30. 4 o'clock until I woke up the next day. So, long story short, I was awake until 3 a.m. when my parents finally came, because I couldn't drive home, so one person had to drive my Jeep. That whole, call it 12 hours, was very stressful and very frustrating to me. And there's other words I could use to describe it, but this video is getting too long here. So, long story short, it's been 3 weeks today, on Monday, the 20th, which, by the way, my birthday was the 15th. I'm 29 now, my last year of my 20s. Changes have to be made. My diet has drastically changed. Carbohydrates, sugar, I'm not going to get into it, and you can talk to different people, and they'll give you different answers, what I can eat, what I can drink. You know, it's one of those things where I'm not going to say that I got emotional about it or anything, but when a doctor and 2 nurses, I'll tell you the same thing, that they've had patients before who had a lower blood sugar and did go into a coma and didn't wake up for years or months. It puts things in perspective, and it's frustrating to me because, you know, I weigh, my last weight was 230 pounds, which is not good for my height and my body type. But I have been working on it. You know, ask buddies I work with and friends. I've been making a concerted effort to drink less or not at all, eat healthier. Exercise is one thing. It's very cold in my neck of the woods right now, and I don't have a gym membership. But it's one of those things where this is a big change because my body is still going through sugar withdrawal and cravings of wanting to eat things. It was my mom's birthday and my birthday all within a few days of each other, like 4 days of each other. So, of course, there was cake in the house, and it's like, can't have that. The big thing, and this is the last I'll say before I end this video, is even if you don't have diabetes, if you've never looked at labels before that much, you know, it's one thing to go, oh, I'm having this, it's got a lot of sugar in it, oh, it's bread. Look at labels. You'd be so fucking surprised of the nutritional value of certain things. For instance, I'm a huge tea drinker. You know, and this is part of what I did, was I switched from having soda at all to drinking tea, unsweetened, or no, I shouldn't say unsweetened, sweet tea, lemonade tea, just tea, right? Sugar content in organic tea is higher than a can of soda. Like, I fucking couldn't believe it. I can't have normal bread. Bread is horrible for you. Some people say have wraps, some people say don't. It's 50-50. You can have wheat bread, but not that much. Some people say you can't have wheat bread at all. Any bread at all is bad for you. Don't have sandwiches. Have regular meals. And the problem is I work retail, I work a weird schedule. All this stuff goes against me and works together and doesn't. So what I can't even have milk. That really pissed me off because I love cereal. The 2% milk, a serving size, has 12 grams of sugar. That's a lot. That's a lot for what we thought, or what I thought until even the other day. I never thought to check milk is a lot. But anyway, this is why you guys haven't seen much footage from me, any footage for 3 weeks from my drone. It's why that I've had a lot of World of Warships videos, because I'm not going out and doing anything. You know, I had a lot of shit planned for my birthday when it came to footage. I had a lot of stuff with the Jeep planned, and that's going to happen. It's just this was a scare. This was something that you can't fuck around with. It's not like, oh, you broke something or you injured something. You have to go easy and then get back to normal. This is something that I'll live with until I lose weight and get rid of it. It's not going to go away. And I will be honest, I cheated. Didn't take my meds for 1 day. Mainly the day for my birthday. I took, at the time, I was prescribed 2 pills a day. I took 1 in the morning, and then I didn't take any at night because I knew I was going to have a few drinks for my birthday. Which I actually did talk to my doctor about, and he said, you know, well, don't drink, but, you know, enjoy yourself with, you know, your meal, but whatever. And I saw an increase in the numbers, and of course they go back down, and it's like, I don't want to be reliant on medication for the rest of my life. And of course, when I think of diabetes, I think of people that I've known from the past with family members and friends of my mom and dad who, you know, they abuse the idea of, oh, you're on medication, you can cheat. You can't do that. That's how they died. A couple people I know specifically. Oh, I can do this and that because I'm on, oh, I'll just double up my medication or whatever. No. So I'm on metformin and glipizide. Numbers have been slowly going down, but until it gets warmer and until I get a few more bucks in my paycheck, because that's the other thing that suffered, was I didn't get paid shit that paycheck because I missed out on a week and a half of work. Because the week before the trip, I went and did the Kennedy video, so I didn't have any work. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys updated. Any ideas, tips, or tricks if you are diabetic. This video was supposed to be 10 minutes. I'm sorry, but I figured I would update you guys and give you some information on where I've been for the past few weeks. So I apologize for the lack of footage and other variations of videos other than World of Warships. Come on, hopefully some of you have watched some of them. Please comment below. Please give me some ideas, any recommendations. I know some of you who are on my Facebook or my fan page, the drone page, have messaged me, and I thank you very much. And I thank everybody who have given me ideas and been with me. And like I said, this is not the worst case scenario. I don't have something that's incurable or untreatable, but it's a very big lifestyle change, and anybody will tell you that, especially considering a big part of being human is eating food and having a set idea of what you can and cannot eat. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys, have a good night. This summer, I will be doing a lot more drone footage. The battleship in New Jersey, going down to Florida for a day. We'll see what happens. Have a good night, guys.